Here's the thing nobody talks about in those world building articles. Creating believable religions isn't just about inventing cool pantheons and mystical rituals. It's not even really about belief. It's about the fear, the power, and the absolutely chaotic way humans try to make sense of the things that scare the hell out of us. And once you see this pattern, you can't unsee it anywhere. Not in real life, not in your stories, not even in your comment section. When you're creating content, building fictional worlds, trying to understand your audience, or even wondering why that one Facebook group turned into a cult overnight, the same rules apply. Belief systems, whether religious, political, social, or fandom based, all follow the same messy, predictable patterns. It all starts with fear. Most people think belief systems begin with hope or love or some noble pursuit of truth. Nope, they start with terror. What keeps people awake at night? Death, obviously, but also, will I have enough money? Will my kids be safe? Why do bad things happen to good people? Why does X person have more than me? Am I a fraud who's fooling everybody? Every major religion on earth started as someone's desperate attempt to answer the fears. The Egyptians created elaborate death cults because the Nile floods were literally life or death. Mess up the ritual, everyone starves. Norse mythology reads like one long anxiety attack about the end of the world because let's face it, Scandinavia in winter probably did feel apocalyptic. Every belief system follows this pattern. Crypto bros terrified of being left behind financially. Wellness influencers scared of losing control over their bodies. Political movements driven by the fear of cultural irrelevance. And toxic fandoms defending something they're afraid of losing. For my world builders, stop asking, what do my characters worship? Start asking, what terrifies them? What scares the society that lives underground? What about the one where magic is dangerously unpredictable? Start there, and you'll build something that feels real instead of Christianity with pointy ears. I've been there. My readers were right. For my creators, this flips your whole strategy. Don't ask, what do people want to hear? Ask, what are they actually afraid of? That is the key to real engagement. Here's where things get interesting and where most fantasy religions fall apart. Nothing stays pure, and that's normal because they're too clean, they're too organized, they're too logical. Real belief systems, they are a mess. They contradict themselves on the regular. They splinter into factions over absurd details. They evolve in ways that would make their founders weep. Christianity has thousands of denominations. They can't agree on how to dunk people in water. Budapest, Buddhism, you can't. Split into competing schools. Islam has major sects. Hinduism is more like a federation of religions rather than a unified whole. Even modern social movements, body positivity, minimalism, mental health spaces, splinter within months of hitting mainstream. Your audience does this too. Starting a YouTube channel about positivity, and I bet you anything within 6 months, your comments are going to be arguing about whether you're too capitalist or not disciplined enough. Making content about healing and people throw hands over therapy versus medication versus manifestation. It's not dysfunction. It's human nature. For my world builders out there, embrace the chaos. Let it feed into the story you're telling. Maybe Orthodox believers think their God speaks only through priests, while reformers believe in personal visions. Maybe one region worships the god of storms as a protector, and another region calls them a bringer of divine judgment. Add the regional flavor, internet schisms, and contradictory scripture. That's what makes it feel lived in. For my creators, expect internal splits. Plan for them. A little drama isn't always bad, but sometimes it just means people care enough to fight about the details. The cultural mashup problem. Here's where it gets tricky, and where a lot of us, my past self included, mess up without realizing it. You can't just lift rituals from real cultures and file off the serial numbers. But you also can't build religions or communities in a vacuum. People need to recognize something familiar in the unfamiliar. The solution? Don't copy the ritual. Understand instead the need the ritual serves. Take communion, for example. Surface bread and wine equals body and blood. Deeper level, deeper meaning, community bonding, ritual renewal, shared experience that reinforces group identity. Gaming communities do the same thing with launch parties and memes. Your audience bonds over live stream in jokes and Discord emojis. It's all communion, just with different bread. For my world builders out there, what serves those same functions in your culture, the one you're creating? Maybe it's a sacred bonfire meal. Maybe everyone sings until their voices merge. Maybe they exchange breath or shed tears together. Whatever it is, it should mean something to them, not just look cool to us. For my creators, if you're referencing a culture or tradition, do your damn homework. Understand the why behind it. Know the line between inspiration and appropriation. And when in doubt, build your own weird tradition from the ground up. See, N.K. Jemisin crushes this in the 5th season. Her fulcrum rituals feel entirely original, but they serve real psychological and cultural functions. Control, identity, safety, community. Every belief system becomes political eventually, that survives more than a generation. And it's not because people are evil. It's because they're human. Someone has to decide doctrine, reinforce rules, settle disputes, manage resources, handle outsiders, and that's politics. Online communities do this too. Start a Discord about sourdough, and within months, you'll be in drama over whether gluten-free counts. YouTube beauty channels split over sponsorship ethics. Book talk debates genre snobbery. Wherever people gather, power structures form. Build those structures within your religions. Who controls the doctrine? Who benefits from the status quo? Are there saints, heretics, political rivals using faith for legitimacy? Do rulers appoint priests, or do priests crown kings? Robin Hobb nails this in the realm of the elderlings. Worship of Sa is tangled up with royal legitimacy, trade networks, and social controls. Different regions weaponize the same faith for totally different goals. That's real. Recognize how power works in your community for my creators. Who sets the tone? Who enforces the norms? Where will tension inevitably show up? And are you prepared for it? So let's talk about the stuff that doesn't work, the stuff that flops. Because trust me, I've done all of these. The all good or all evil trap. No one belief system sees it as the villain. Not even the scary ones. If your death cult is sacrificing people, they still think they're saving lives. Belief is about perceived good. Remember that. The static mythology myth. If a belief system hasn't changed in 1,000 years, it's probably dead. Real religions evolve constantly, even when they swear they don't. So should your fictional ones, and your brand strategies for that matter. The weird for weird sakes problem. Pinky finger sacrifice. Sure, but why? Weird doesn't equal meaningful unless it serves a cultural, spiritual, or psychological purpose. And of course, the cultural appropriation landmine. Because drawing inspiration is fine, but lifting cultures and rituals without understanding them, or lifting sacred symbols, it's not just lazy, it's plain disrespectful. So remember, when in doubt, create something new. The real question you should be asking is not what should people believe. Instead, it should be what function does this belief serve? Is it fear management, community building, control, status signaling, or identity formative? Identity formation. Usually it's a decent cocktail of all five. And once you understand that, you can create content that connects, or religions that feel so real, because you're tapping into how humans actually work. So your assignment for this week: take a belief system, anyone, real, fictional, community-based, and ask these 3 questions. 1. What specific fear or anxiety does this belief system address? 2. What's the biggest internal conflict, and what do different factions argue about? And 3. How does it interact with power? Who benefits? Who wants change? Write it down. Because whether you're building a fantasy world, building your own audience, these answers will show you where the cracks in magic really are. All right, time to spill some tea, guys. What's your most embarrassing Christianity with pointy ears moment? Or if you're feeling bold, tell me about a fictional religion that completely changed how you how you think about belief. Drop it in the comments, and because honestly, we learn more from each other's disasters than we ever do from pretending we're perfect. And if you want to watch me get dragged for accidentally creating a fantasy cult, check out my video, Cultural Appropriation versus Inspiration in World Building. The link's below. Once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. And that's when things get really interesting.